he had a flaw. He had a flaw. And his flaw, his weakness was to trust missing materials so much. Such a way that missing materials uses him as a tool to find jobs for his victims or prey. Missing materials also uses him as a tool to exploit those that he found jobs for. I expected that as an employee, he would invite those that he had given taxes to and then make things clear to them, have a discussion with them, and make the conditions clear to them. Instead of allowing Mr. Mr. to go between and then to attract 50% from Bukhari's wage, and then others also bargaining percentages for their wages and so on. Yeah. So then invite Bukhari and interviews him for a job, and all that Mr. Mr. does is to vouch for Bukhari. So he'll do well. Oh, he can do it. Oh, yeah. So in doing all this, all that, yes. Don't forget that when he mysterious reported back to Dane that he should sack Bukhari, no investigation was conducted. Right. So when Bukhari falls out with Mysterious manipulated Dane to the same Bukhari as his taxi driver. Mysterious again uses Joe and Janet, right, members of Dane's household, to punish Baba. And then Mysterious get back to try his luck on. Mysterious get Baba to try his luck on Janet's love, but it was a job to do, borrow so on and things out into that. So Baba is caught and put in cells. Henry Denny is a manipulative tool in the hands of Mysterious. Is it true? The rich people we have in our communities, are they manipulative of their go-betweens? Class, I'm with you. Or you're not with me?
Yes, we are with you.
Yeah. So the question is, do we have people like Mr. Mysterious and Dane in our communities? Where yet much about the things that they hold. All right. So let's hear Kate.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it is true. Sometimes you see some of these rich men being manipulated by the local men or somebody who is seen poor by telling them that I know this place. When we send you there, you'll be protected. Your wealth will stay with you forever and all that. And they trust them so much that they give them their all, they give them everything they have, and they lead them to such places. Sometimes they don't even go there themselves. They send them to these places, giving them huge monies to go seek protection for them and all that. So it is true.
Thank you, sister. Hakofa.
Yes, good morning.
Good
Please,
morning.
I think I don't really see as manipulation, as in Mystic was manipulating the boss, but I see it that it's because of the trust the boss had for him, as in he's able to handle things. You know, sometimes the way Mystic was described, it means he has the mouth to talk, so he's able to convince. So that made the boss to trust him and not to investigate issues because he believed that he has a capable employee who can handle issues in his absence or can handle issues on his behalf. That's what I think. So I don't really see
And
that
that is the
he was
and that
doing.
and that's the weakness on his part. That's the weakness on his part. If you hear something and don't investigate it, you make wrong judgments. It is wrong to make a judgment based on hearsay. You make judgment on evidence you have. So, for example, when issues are sent to court, it takes a long time in court, go and come because it's not about what you come there to say. It's not about what your lawyers will say, but it's about the background investigation that they conduct. that gets them to say, oh, okay, we have found A, B, C, D, and therefore, right? So it's not a matter of just trusting. Yeah. Can we hear, is it Adam?
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much.
But most of the times you find this in our society, even in our workplace, people judge others and without hearing from the other side.
Sure, sure. Frank?
Prof, please, you called me.
Oh, I thought you were speaking. Okay, let's hear you.
Because Akufa. Okay, thank you very much. The question you asked, um, the rich men in our society sometimes doesn't even have knowledge about what their employers um, are doing at their back. Maybe people that um, they have given opportunities to work on their behalf. And in the novel, we saw that Mystic Mysterious was taking advantage just because he led Bukari to the rich man, Mr. Denny. So, but Mr. Denny had no knowledge about what Mystic was taking from Bukari. So, in a way, I think he manipulated the whole thing to get what he wanted.
Yeah. Frank, and then, yeah, Frank.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Per the question you asked, my observation in the society is that the rich men that went through formal education, they are not easily to be manipulated. But those that has a little formal education, they are easily to be manipulated. Thank you.
Frank?
Prof. Lisa, I was the one that just finished speaking.
Oh, sorry. Daniel.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Yeah, I see this
Put that
manipulation.
down. So I don't get confused. Daniel, go on.
Okay, I see this manipulation of the rich by those who are, their subjects, as a symbol of how our political leaders are sort of usually being manipulated by those who surround them, to the end that the grassroots are normally excluded from whatever is going on at the center of government. The leaders do not know, they are not giving the real picture of what is happening. And so they take decisions thinking that they are going to benefit the general public, and it ends up the opposite. So I think this is what people around rich people usually do, in which they really manipulate things to look in a way that the rich people do not see the real picture of things, around them. And so this, yeah, I agree that this is what happens. Thank you.
So the point I'm making out of all this interaction is that no one can insulate himself or herself from manipulations. No one. Yesterday, I was at the Ahmadiyya convention in Kumasi, and the vice president was there, and the vice president convoy came. The vice president was sitting in a car. The driver drove past where she's supposed to get down. People got down and they were fighting because the driver had moved here and there. That kind of. So it was when they have finished fighting that they said, okay, driver, reverse to this place. So the driver reversed. The vice president got down, and then she had to be directed around this and that and that and that and that. I'm not saying that he was being manipulated, but the fact is that the world is too big for one person to have an eye that can see everything. So no matter who you are open to manipulation one way or the other. And the fact that Mr. Mysterious is also, I call him an elusive character. An elusive character. So please read that paper for me, the paper on Mr. Mysterious. Read it for me. And you understand most of the things that we are saying. he's an elusive character because this is a character not really identified with a human being, but it's a character that is mystified even in the name, mystic, mysterious. So it's like an imaginary spirit, imaginary thing that's everywhere, manipulating everyone at any given time. In the story, he must be given a human body to work with. But in real life situation, he is a character that's everywhere. So this is perfectly represented in the story. That Mr. Dane, Mrs. Dane, whoever, whatever your status, you can be manipulated or you are manipulated in the book. Adam?
Okay, thank you very much. Prof, please, can we also say that Mystic Mysterious is a trickster?
A trickster?
Yes, sir.
We haven't denied that. We have said this one. Please, there's too much noise. Let me attend to it. I'm not glad you didn't go. I mean, I was not yet to do an want to go. All right. So we have mentioned this long time. That's a trickster. And that is a kind of the Kukwanasi we know. We have mentioned this long time. And that's why in the contemporary times, we are looking at him as the scammer, the fraudster that we know. Please read the paper for me, I beg you. Read it. You'll be fine. Right. Akuka Sahana or the old one? All right. Let's continue. Nanajua.
Yes, sir. Please, can you kindly give me the name of the paper or the title you're asking us to read off?
I think one of you look for it and share this on a platform. So the person heard you. Please can you share it on your
Thank you.
Sir, please, it's on the platform. English major platform.
Please, we are not all of us offers English major. Some of us offers C as major.
that is you can do after the discussion. You just want to play for you to come and fight. All right. So the next character we are dealing with is the 441 crowd. Now 441 because we don't want to give names, and don't forget that when we go to places, we have places that boys meet and they come with names. In my village here, we have boys ghettos. So you go to a ghetto, and it's made up of about 50 boys, and they have a name. So when you get there, you look for their leader, and then you communicate with them. You don't just get there and start talking to anybody. No. They will shoot that you see the leader. So one of such groups is what we see in the book 441 Crowd. A group of young men with youthful exuberance. They meet and talk about their lives. Good. Though the appearance of meeting Israel to their meeting was a surprise, their gullibility, the fact that they are receptive to anything, made Mysterious use them for selfish games. I know, it's very easy for boys to fall in love with a man who appears and thinks of solving the problem for them. That's what the politicians do. So politicians will focus their attention on the young one. The youth is our future. We shall give them jobs, 24-hour economy. we'll give them a job. Agree for what? Job and food and job. We'll be here, this and that. When they're those doing galamsey, will you make use of the boys? Come and do galamsey. You do this. They are gullible and easy tools of manipulation. So Mr. Mysterious also comes around and he does the same thing. He does the same thing. Right. So he offers them first. So just like Baba that he offered money, just like Bukha that he gave job, he came and gave the boys cigarettes and discussed its strength, and then introduced them to marijuana. Right. So when they hooked on to the drug that's marijuana, then he decided to supply them and then sell to them. Now, upon the death of Madman, Mr. Mysterious instigates the boys against Kujansa. Other boys who yesterday who has done this, who has done that, who has that. So he comes and mentions names. As for Kujansa did it. We answered that, we answered that, we answered that, we answered that. So the boys started looking for him. The 441 crowd becomes a group of organized young men who are manipulated to achieve personal selfish programs of Mr. Mysterious. So Mr. Mysterious here represents all people who use young men to achieve their evil desires. These acts of the 441 crowd greatly influence Mysterious by exemplifying how side groups are financed by politicians and the powerful to protect their interests. The symbolic essence of 441 crowd is their representation of all side groups and their predicament. And you find them in every community. Every community, you will find the boys groupings there. You find them. I think even in schools, they are there. Am I right? If you come to Keko's Casford and you want Jama group, you don't just go there and gather boys. No. They have their leaders. We have Jama 1, Jama 2, we have those groups in Casford. But then there's a big leader which is called, you go to Atlantic, the same thing. I know if you go to Legon, you can have them there. So wherever there are boys, we have the groups of gangs established. And we'll get to them used. Good. The next person we are looking at is Madman. Madman. By the name, one of the customers of AC. He sounds very comic, and his words are not taken serious by others. Because the name implies he's seen as someone whose mental state is a bit shaky. Right. His biting comments sets Mr. Mysterious against him. His comments are so biting. And I mentioned it that time that if you go to a community and want information about the people in the community, especially the rich and the powerful, nobody can tell you. They will all be scared to tell you that, oh, this rich man is this and that. No, they do not. It is the madmen, it's the people that we don't respect, the people that we shout on to leave us, go away. They are those who will tell us issues about the rich. They can speak to power. They can speak to riches. And Madman is one such character in the book. So it makes him a victim of Mr. Mysterious. So he goes to interpretation contest with Kofi team, but then he loses. The madman's death, orchestrated by Mr. Mysterious, shows callousness on the part of whoever might have killed him. And you and I know it's the Mr. Mysterious who killed him. Right. So the weaving of Kujo Ansan into the murder of madman affirmed the evil nature of Mystic Mysterious. Right. Now let's look at a setting of this book. I've mentioned it time and time again. We have looked at setting as place or location of the story along a timeline. This book, the setting comprises two types, that's the backdrop and integral settings. The backdrop could be the bigger community, and then the specific communities we find ourselves in. So let me say that you come across backdrop setting images when it's important for a story. So we have the paper you'll be reading, we have post-colonial setting in that paper. But then we have integral setting, which influences the theme and characters in the story. It's a setting that the sense Flores meet yourself. It's a setting that controls the characters in the sense that if the writer confines a certain character to a particular place, it will define the character. So it's obvious we see the Nima people of a certain behavior, the Kana people of certain behavior, and so on. So certain can make things happen. Certain will prompt characters to act, certain will bring them to realization or cause them to reveal their innermost nature, and so on. So obviously we'll go through and we'll see Mystic Mysterious, we'll see Baba, Bukari, Kujo, Asa, Kofintin, the way they behave, all of them. It's not mentioned in the novel, though, but then there are chronicle landmarks that will guide us to make meaningful guesses in certain or define a specific time of the writing. The narrative indicates that most of the dwellings were built during the colonial period or soon after. And although they had kept the structures and surroundings impressive and charming. So this indicates that chronological period is after the independence of Ghana. The image of Mr. Mysterious evokes contemporariness. So we are told that his eyes were hidden behind a pair of glasses and he drives a contemporary car. When they were out of Nima, this drove and drove in silence. All these point to the fact that Mystic Mysterious or point to the fact that the story is in the contemporary Ghanaian post-colonial times. Right. So the other indicators that point to the fact that the story was set in a post-colonial period in Ghana. It is therefore proper to describe the story as a post-colonial story. As you read, you definitely identify some of these things. And as I've indicated in the paper, you find some things there that will define for you the place, the setting. So, one, we have the Grove of Nakedness main setting as Nima and Kanda in post-colonial Accra, separated from each other by a road that runs through them. Is there anyone here who knows Nima, who knows Kanda? Anyone here who knows Nima, Kanda? Just my hands. Hey, you don't know Nima, you don't know Kanda. Apapa Kofa, Nanajua, Rubin, Dorothy. Just four. Khadija. Khadija, are you sure? Khadija.
Yes, sir.
I shall know Nima Kanda.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. So can you mention one thing, one government institution that is found in Nima? Any of you?
So the police headquarters. Yes.
The place is in Nima. Is it not in Osu?
Oh, there's a police station at Nima.
That's what I know, but the headquarters is not at Osu.
So the police station said then I think your father's house is closer to former president here.
Where is GBC?
So GBC is Kandao, TV3.
GBC.
TV3 is also Kanda.
Good. So you know Kanda. I don't know.
Hey, so the vice president.
You know Kanda. I don't know.
It's in Kanda as well.
Yes, and that is where we have the national mosque too at Kanda.
Kanda is behind the.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Now I know you know.
It's okay. And TV3 is around that.
Okay. Now I know you know. Right. So separated by road. Nima is not for 18 influx. Nima is noted for 18 influx of people from all parts of Ghana, especially from the northern part of Ghana. Bukari migrated from Wa, and other parts of West Africans also are found in Nima. And this explains why we have characters like Bukari, Fati, Baba, Isaka, among others, reflecting names in the northern part of Ghana. We also have names such as Kujo, Kujo Ansan, who comes from Apam. We have Kofi Ntin, who comes from Ashanti region. We have SC and also people all over the country there. So Nima is an impoverished community, congested and badly laid out community with its inhabitants mostly unemployed. I think this statement may be, unemployed, fine, but then most of them are also self-employed, engaged in all kinds of businesses and so on. So like any such community, it has a degree of lawlessness with all forms of social vices. An instance is the 441 group who were drug addicts and drunkards and teenagers who are abandoned by their parents to fend for themselves, as we indicated earlier. Pati and Baba Bukari's relationship is a good example of such things. We can go on to look at even the life of Baba as telling a newspaper and then as and all that. So the characters here are hugely vulnerable and easy prey for predators like Mr. Mysterious. It becomes obvious then that Mr. Mysterious takes advantage of the situation to exploit every character he encounters from or is in Nima. Kanda, on the other hand, is a place of affluence with its inhabitants being well-to-do, respectable people, where there's law and order. That's why Baba was arrested. And that's a neighborhood has a well-laid out plan of settlement with serene and calm environment. With these set of settings, the author determines and controls the characters due to the places they find themselves. Example, Mugai, who lives in Nima with his family, lives in a compound house where they share a common bathhouse. Also, the interior of his room, described in page 15, shows how impoverished he is. With few employment opportunities, Bukari has been unemployed for 8 months. In contrast to Bukari, Henry Dein is a well-to-do businessman who lives in Canada. He's so rich that he even offers a driving job to Bukari and others. We are not also saying here that everybody in Canada today is as rich as Mr. Henry Dein. No. For instance, Bukari's wife for instance, Bukhari, his wife, the Juju family, and that of Isaka always sit together in the evening to converse and interact. That's a compound house. AC's quick drinking spot. We see Bukhari and his friends, Kuja and Sakofin team sit and converse, tease and share their problems almost every evening. Kanda is where everyone stays in his or her home, world. You don't go into another person's home. You don't engage another person. You don't do that. Now, this theme of friendship and solidarity, this theme or this red matter of friendship and solidarity is typical of places like Nima. With Nima being an impoverished community, parents and guardians go about looking for their daily bread to feed their family, and so parental control is not as effective as that of parents in Kanda. This is why Baba, the son Bukari and Fati, drops out of school and roams about. He leaves and comes back to the house anyhow at any time. As in some cases, the parents even didn't know that he had dropped out of school. Lastly, as lawless place, Mr. Missios exploit the vulnerable inhabitants of Nima as a result of their economic status. Yeah, are you with me?
Yes, Prof.
All right. So let's continue.
So your one dropped for a while.
Yeah, yeah. And I was saying that the exploitations of missing materials involved the 441 group. It involved Ufintin, Bukhari, Baba, and so on. And this brings in the subject matter of power and corruption. Power and corruption. Where Mr. Misios got power and then became so corrupt in his power that he wanted to get the boys hooked on drugs. He wants to rape Fatih. He wants to take advantage of almost everyone in the society. So Mr. Misios succeeded in corrupting the better moral of Bukhari by luring him into promiscuous character life. He also turned Baba into a money-searching child who worked for money in order to satisfy Adokoye's happiness so that he does not lose her to older rich men. Now take note that corruption here is in two folds. One, the character himself is corrupt, and he passes on this corrupt character to others. He's just corrupt. He gets hold of innocent Baba, who innocent Baba, he also tries to live corrupt life, because a boy of 16 chasing a girl, that's not a good life. Right. He again uses his power to order men to beat Kofi's team when he refused to pay his share of his wages as agreed. And above all, he made moves on Fatih, Bukari's wife, which eventually led to Bukari's dismissal and subsequent death. So the question is, if he has succeeded in sleeping with Fatih, would he have kept Bukari there? All these acts of mysterious did not happen in Kanda due to the presence of law and order in Kanda. An instance of law and order in Kanda can be seen on page 193 when Joe saw Baba in the Yin household. He refused to beat him, but left him in the hands of the law. That is the.
Kanu otini mami. Hey.
So we also get to know that a setting develops the character, the themes, the setting develops the other issues in the book. So as Nema is an impoverished society, and so they live in compound houses, a form of communalism and neighborly love is seen among them. Is seen among them, right? So if we are called upon to look at the literal relevance of setting in the book, you ought to be able to lead us into all these. Yes, and give us how the setting influences characters, how the setting influences themes, and so on. Right. There's another setting in the book that we need to talk about. It's mentioned in passing. Which setting is that? It has place in the book that's mentioned in passing. And it's very important to the moral development in the book. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, let's hear you. There's another setting in the book that is crucial to the moral development of the story. Mercy.
Nkrumah Circle.
Thank you. Nkrumah Circle is an important setting in the book. And we know Nkrumah Circle, those days, you mentioned Nkrumah Circle. Where do you work? I work at Nkrumah Circle, a woman. Then they all suspect you as what?
A prostitute.
Thank you, as a prostitute. That is mentioned in the book as tuition. So you have a mystic mysterious leading Bukhari to see things and maybe start patronizing the prostitutes there. So when you are discussing settings in the book, don't forget to talk about that. So that we will say that Nkrumah Circle sits very well and connects very well with Nima. So when you are moving from, when you're coming to Circle from from that place, you are coming to Circle, you have Nima on your right, and then Kanda on your left, and they all stretch to Nkrumah Circle, right? They all have their route to Nkrumah Circle, except that the road divides the two. Yeah. So, but then the relevance of Nkrumah Circle is in line more with Nima than it is with Kanda. We are not by this saying that if it's about rot, if it's about decay, we cannot find rot and decay in Kanda. No. Don't forget that story is fictionalized. So to make our meaning, we need to do the associations well. Thank you so much. Now, the next thing we're talking about is the point of view, and we have talked a lot about point of view in the other books, right? But then we need to know that in this one, it is not a character that narrates the story, but it's somebody outside that does the narration. Then we also get to know that this character who narrates the story is able to get into the minds of the characters, is able to give commentaries, and so on. So here the writer presents the actions, hopes, aspirations, and other psychological emotions of state of the characters through an overarching godlike perspective that sees and knows everything that happens and everything that characters are thinking of. So this leads us to the conclusion that then obviously it's omniscient narrative approach that is used here. And we'll look at it from the pronouns used. The first page that he moved slowly like a bored chameleon. It was as though his steps were a chore performed with difficulty but necessary for the accomplishment of compelling objectives. So the tone of the story clearly shows that the narrator is a distant away from the story, and references to characters and situations or events do not reflect a close link with the narrator. No. So it might be stressed that as the story reflects dynamic human engagement, there are instances of other forms of communication, such as dialogues, characters, between characters, characters reflecting, communicating through thoughts, and even narrative events and so on. All of these is dominant. The dominant approach that become defining point of view. So we may have all these things there, but then the overarching point of view is the omniscient narration. Do not come and tell me that it is multi-perspectiva. No. The overarching, the dominant approach. Right. So we look at the relevance of those, and then we can say that because the narrator can see from everywhere, get into every mind, he has a general view towards everything and presents the issues that are very much related to the story, in addition to those that are also not related to the story. So the narrator is able to bring in us what is in the story and even provide other commentaries in the story. Again, we also get to know what the characters do, what goes on in them, their reflections, their enclosed places. We get to know what goes on in them. It allows the narrator to distance himself from the story, and this creates a level of objectivity. Objectivity is created here because the narrator is not part of the story and he stays true to the story. The biases are minimized. There is the permission to comment on attitude, comment on thoughts, and this broadens the scope of analysis. So there are things that we can do, there are some conclusions we can make, and you would have been guided by the narrator himself. For example, into making the serious from page 1, it's obvious to predict that this character may have something up his sleeves that's going to share. So the narrative technique allows for dialogue, it allows for limited omniscient narrative, it allows for strong consciousness, but then all these fit in, all these opportunities given to the characters to reflect so that they can have the broader picture of the book. Now, one may be tempted, as I said earlier, one may be tempted to then conclude that it's more of a multi-perspective approach. I'm saying no, because the dialogues and other things we see are just minimal instances of them. They are minimal instances of them. Right. Let's look at the style. The approach that the writer uses to present the story. Why the story is so good that we want to read and read and read again is the style. The unique and efficient way he employs to present a story. The writer's use of language, the setting, imagery, symbolism, issues that come out, and among other things, the techniques which I employed the story. So one unique thing that we say of this story has to do with the trickster character or the trickster figure that the narrator employs, where we have a character who appears so elusive that he reflects the Anansi among the Akans or the other trickster characters in other stories and so on. Right. So this Anansi character, this trickster character, makes it open that every human being is prone to be exploited by such a character. And therefore, in reading this story, you don't only read Bukhari, you don't read Fatih, but you read putting yourself in it. That this character called Mr. Mysterious can appear in my life, and how will he treat me? Will he treat me as AC? Will he treat me as Fatih? Will he treat me as Bukhari? Or will he treat me as madman? Right. So it creates opportunity for self-evaluations. Now, Mr. Mysterious, or the trickster character here, and then the techniques, the style employed by the narrator, provides him with the penetrating awareness of the nature and psychology of human beings and animals by using the trickster character, the trickster figure. Right. His behavior, mirror in his behavior the fundamental human passions, ambitions, and follies as revealed in contemporary society, including us. So basically, it's a situation when a character pretends helping others but gains from his cunning ways, and sometimes he's caught and punished, while in most cases, he's caught but then not punished. That's Mr. Mysterious. And if you look into you have such people around us all the time. Such people around us all the time. Right. In a view of the characteristics of trickster character described in this book, we will not have a problem identifying Mr. Mysterious as such. I will not find a problem identifying others also in the in our society. In fact, even on this platform, I have so many trickster characters who don't read the books, but I will ask questions such that their questions will, if you're not careful, get you to say everything for them. On Monday, I heard somebody saying that she doesn't even know the book we are reading, so somebody should put it on a platform for her. And I know you put it on a platform, she'll go ahead and ask again. So what does the book say? And somebody may be tempted to tell the story. They say, and then add it to a lesson we have done here, and she's okay to write the exams. And she'll come back and she'll call you and say, Prof, I wrote very well, but I had a D. So please do something about it. Please don't try to call me for that thing. I had a D, so I should do something about it. If you read the book and listened carefully and did everything we asked you to do, you will definitely get to A. But if you don't, and you want to rely on some things and be as Mr. Mysterious, he will be there waiting for you. The best you can get will be a D. Right. So it's evident that through the novel, Mr. Mysterious pretends offering helping hands to the needy and the vulnerable. But then one realizes that Mr. Mysterious does that to his benefit, and those that help rather suffer to the end. So he's a trickster. It must also be indicated that anyone who stands in his way is dealt with in a manner no one can associate with the crime. That's Mr. Mysterious. Recount the incident of Mr. Mysterious seeming benevolence shows how this kind benefited him more than the people that he thought of benefiting. Yeah, Kofi.
Yes, Prof. If you are asked to examine the character of Mr. Mysterious, can you compare him to the whites. Anytime that they need anything from Africans, they bring certain things to motivate us. But as soon as we adopt it, then they give us hard.
No, please. No. We don't want to go beyond the context of the book.
Okay.
You will be writing a commentary. So stay in the book, please.
Okay.
Right. So among the things that we can look at, there are several of them. Mr. Mysterious appearing as a rich man at the beginning of the novel. An elusive character, the way he dresses, giving employment and then forcing them to pay percentages to him. Mr. Mysterious giving marijuana to the boys as a gesture, but through those introduce them to drugs and get them to smoke marijuana, to take marijuana. Mr. Mysterious diverts attention of the people and succeeding in accusing Kojo and San of the death. Mr. Mysterious being conned to Kojo and San executed, getting executed. Mr. Mysterious introducing Bukhari to women, Baba to girls, Party nearly raped, resulting in broken homes. Mr. Mysterious introducing Baba to money, and that take care of Adokoye. Through Mr. Mysterious machination, Baba is arrested as a thief, an act that portrays an irresponsible society. So all these brings us to the point that Mr. Mysterious is the trickster character in the book. Trickster character in the book. Right. So if you are asked to talk about this book, a trickster tale, I think you have a lot to say. Right. And then we talk of the implications also. The implications also. That it brings in interest, creates interest, sustains interest. I want to read to the end. We can easily relate the character to elements in the community to make the book alive. As a pattern on account and a system approach, and also makes it for folkloric, as we know. Now, it also helps us to read the book and not to believe it totally. The trickster thing gets us to read the book, but we don't believe whatever we see in the book totally, because there's a character in it that we cannot give a human name to, but it's a character that runs up and down, doing a lot of here and there. Right. Good. I not talk about the symbolic element of the characters because we have talked about the characters already. I will know who they are. But then let's mention a few of them. That's Mr. Mysterious runs through the entire story. And is a character who comes with a unique name. And the father, he has a unique name. And the name that we cannot associate with any human being, making him a mystic character. Makes him a mystic character. That's why I keep on saying that he is an elusive character. And that he's shrouded in mysticism. Right? His dressings and the way he behaves all show that he is a mystic character. Right. The fact that he goes to Kanda, he goes to Nkrumah Circle, he goes to how do you call it, Nima, and all these places he's working, he's doing things there. If you look at it closely, right, that the characters are all at a place. We have the Nima characters at Nima, Kanda characters at Kanda, but he's the one who moves around the three and then manages to pull Bukhari with him. So that makes him a symbolic character. Wherever there's a situation, the center of it. You're looking at Kim McQuick, he's there. You're looking at the end of the story, even when everything has ended, and we think that he's not coming again, he shows his face again. He's a complex character, right? He's not an individual human character, but a configuration of several evil tendencies that easily come the way of every human being. That's what we look at. And therefore, he's forever with humanity. If you read the book, all these things are there. Kofi team, one of the three friends, is also a symbol of resistance that yields good results. We see that one in there. He presents an approach to avoid falling prey to the unsuspected exploiter. So the narrator describes him as a specimen of human ugliness. Now, this human ugliness is not just about his physique. It's not just about his physique, but every human being is prey to fall. But this is a boy, this is a guy who comes in and then he stands so firm that he doesn't fall to the prey of Mr. Mysterious. And that's ugly to humanity. That's ugly to humanity. He is the authorial voice on moral and social cohesion in the novel. He is the one that the writer wants to say that, can we all look at him, look up to him, and be like him? That is Kofi Intim. Yes, the Kofi Intim. We're talking of three women, but then I am also looking at one particular woman who is strong in a male-dominated context. And her name is AC. Her name is AC. She reflects the female characters in the novel. She is industrious and fortitude in conduct. She's the owner of Kimekwe, we all know. She described as beautiful and looks younger than her 40 years age, right? Nima is a community of prey, yet she takes full advantage of full opportunities. It's a community of depravity, but she's there making money. She works hard, meticulous of her profession. She's complimented by Mr. Mysterious, and her clients are surprised at his sociability and sense of interaction. She's also a caring woman who takes care of, who takes the men on issues, takes care of men, takes them on issues that may perceive as main topic. She's knowledgeable. We sometimes will think that if a woman sells a petition, if a woman runs a bar, then she's easy to be used by the men who come around. But we don't see AC in this situation, right? So we compare AC to Fatih, and I want you to do that. But at the end of it, we'll start the story with Fatih married, but the story ends with Fatih having no husband. We'll start the story with AC not married, but then the story ends with AC married to Kofi team and happily living thereafter. So it provides a model for women in the context of existence and operation. For the 441 group, yes, it's an example of organized young men who are unemployed and are used by politicians and other such entities. So their vulnerability is seen in how Mr. Mysterious manipulates them. They are symbolic of side groups, as we have mentioned in the book. All right. Now, the language, that diction and imagery in this book is straightforward. It's straightforward. It's simple. straightforward, common expressions, and the narrator employs everyday language. The terms used are familiar terms. Ghanaian, you can talk of Kenke, you can talk of Massa, among others. We can talk of indigenous names, Adokwe, Baba, Kopintin, Isaka, Nkoma Circle, Apam. We can talk of each setting comes with its characters, names to make the story reflect its place. For example, people from Nima have their names, people from Nana have their names. For Nima, we didn't hear of any Mr. and Mrs., but for Kana, we had Mr. and Mrs., and so on. So the scenic descriptions are presented in simple, direct, familiar words, which make it easy to imagine. So the totality of language or diction include the type and manner of the image employed. Though the novelist attempt to be simple and get data, the choice of imagery has to make the language easy to understand and effective. Right. I have a few instances of figurative language in the book. We can talk of symbolism, and for this symbolism, I've said all characters, all places in the book are symbolic. They are symbolic and they reflect the story. For example, we'll talk of trade quick, the symbolic of three things: symbolic of appetition, symbolic of the bar, and symbolic of AC's attitude in getting them overcome their problem. So we have the three friends always going there, discussing their problems, and lo and behold, it's there that they get the turnaround situations. So somebody comes, gives them job, but then they fall into his trap. The 411 crowd is symbolic. We are talking about it. Drugs in the book is a very strong symbolic thing. And for drugs, we are talking of appetition, we are talking of the drugs that Mr. Michel gives, and we are talking of the cigarettes that he also gives to the boys. So the cigarettes and drugs, marjoram to the boys, appetition to the others, and even the whiskey that Mr. Michel takes to Fatih. They are all elements of drugs, and they have their relevance, symbolic relevance in the book. Right. We have those beautiful instances of simile in the book where Mr. Mysterious is compared to a chameleon, right? That's very important. The sunglasses, the clothes he wears, the coat he wears, and the color of all that, they're all symbolic. They're all symbolic in the book. So we pay attention to them, right? Thematic issues in the book would include the caring for one another and being each other's keeper. Care for one another and being each other's keeper. So we see Fatih and Isaka. We know Kojo and San Isaka came in to rescue Fatih from Mr. Mysterious, right? So there's a need to preserve ourselves and need of others as well. Don't forget that between these, we can have what we call the Sabbath matters, right? And for Sabbath matters, we can talk of money, corruption, care, friendship, riches, power, depravity, parenting, and others. You can add on to any of those strong statements or strong words we find in the book as reflecting the general context, right? Then we also have money as a disintegrative tool. Money as this integrative tool in the book. So the quest for money separates Abukari from Fatih. He wants money. The quest for money separates Baba from his family. Right. What about the others? Of money separated Kofi team from others, Korean answer from others, not really. But then we limit the focus to Bukhari and then Baba. Quest for money, looking for money. Man as a disintegrative tool. Right. We're talking of the nature of enduring love. You may tell me that it's a separate matter because it is in a phrase, but you also agree with me that it's a reflection of exact things in the book, Uchifati and Bukhari. Baba and Adokwe, I still want to find out whether it was a true love, but I can talk of Kofi team and AC. So Fatih and Bukhari, Fatih and Baba, and then Kofi team and AC. But between Baba and Adokwe, we are yet to find out. So the nature of love, right? We're talking of depravity and vulnerability as best follows. Depravity and vulnerability as best follows. You agree that all the things we have said in the book is because people didn't have, and if you don't have, you become vulnerable, and therefore, so lack of something makes people weak and vulnerable to be used. So the one who has it easily manipulates people around. Yes, we see it in our schools, in our communities, and so on. Now we're talking of true friendship being costly. That true friendship is costly. True friendship is costly. And we see this one between Kofi and Kofi, Intim, and Kojo and San, and then Bukhari and the rest. So we have Mr. Mysterious manipulating Bukhari, the other friends not being happy with it. Mr. Mysterious trying to rape Party, the other friends not being happy with it. And all those who stood in the way of Mr. Mysterious in getting whatever he wanted from the Bukhari family, they all suffered one way or the other. That's the cost they pay for being true friends. So Ansar's efforts in preventing Mr. Mysterious from raping Party ultimately cost his life. Right. Parenting as a social responsibility, and I've mentioned a number of them. So look at the family of Isaka, who spent most of the time with his wife and then the children. Look at the life of Mr. Adeni, who is always with his children. Janet is always there. Look at the life of Adokwe's mother, Adokwe and her mother. Then we come to the life of Baba and then the parent. That's Fatih and the Bukhari. And what happens? Right. You have talked about the child motive in the story. So you look at that one carefully. Right. Please, any question up to this point? Any question up to this point? All right. If there are no questions, then the issues we have mentioned, we will read around them, get them engraved in us, and then we'll be done. So you know already that after those, next week will be practicals, and I think after that you write your quizzes. The quizzes, I'll set the quizzes to cover the entire course outline. So for the beginning to the end, the quizzes will cover it. End of semester would also cover everything. For end of semester, I'll set some objective questions that you choose. You select A, B, C. You need to write to fill in. You provide some answers yourself. That will section A. Then for section B, you have 4 essay questions that you will need to answer to. And let me say that the 4 essay questions will require you reading all 3 books to be able to answer them very well. If you read just 1 book or 2 books, please, you will not be able to approach the question the way you want to. This course is not a difficult course. Question about it's not difficult. I believe it's something that about 50% of you should get A, then the remaining 50% of them should get B plus. I mean, if you get C in this course, you have not done well. You have not done well. So please try and do your best, and we'll all be smiling when we meet again. Right. So if there are questions, let's bring them. If there are no questions, then I don't know if I can say good morning. All right, then good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Good
Prof,
morning,
please, are
Prof.
we meeting tomorrow morning for drama?
Yes, please. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock to 11. Mama.
All right, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Prof.
Please, those who have the slide title that Prof talked about, kindly drop it on the page for us to read through. Thanks.
Tomorrow meeting, is it face to face or online?
Please, Prof doesn't do face to face. He does online with us always. So take
Okay,
note.
okay. Thanks.
But all centers will be face to face tomorrow. All centers.
Tomorrow.
That one is sentence.
No, it's tomorrow.
Please, not all centers. Because we at Riverview, we don't do face to face. Please. So take note.
There's only Riverview and one other center. I think there are 2.
What of Wesco?
We are going face to face.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Course rep, please, we'll be expecting the type. The slide that Prof talked about.
Is there?
He said
I pick it
expecting
from
what?
the page.
Yeah, the slide.
It's on the page.
Notes on in a form of a slide. So those of us, some of us have it, so they should post it on the page. So I'm asking if you have yours, if you can kindly drop it for us to read through.
Please, which page are you?
Please, we are minor students, so please place it on the minor students platform so that we can also see it and download it. Thank you.
Ya na mutu. Ah, okay, okay. Allah ya muna.
Hello, Rich Love. Hello, Rich Love. Hello, hello, Rich Love. The lecture came on.